And greetings, everyone. Greg here. I just thought I would pop on since since it's the day that I decided to release the pay-per-view version of the film, the TV show. Some of you may have heard about it. This is a film that I've been working on for about well, yeah, almost a year and 2 weeks. I'm going to say. Um, it's a film that is about a particular YouTube channel, which used to be known as Rachel's Ghost. I think it's Rachel's Ghost #1 now, or no, Rachel's Ghost 2. But so it's a bit of a kind of a snapshot in time. The film was shot over, at least the core footage was shot over 2 days, November 5th, November 6th of last year, 2024. And probably shot over, geez, was there for 3 days? Probably, I think when I got home, I realized it was, it was what? Was about 22 hours of footage. And that's just footage of the protagonist, so to speak, Rachel and her partner Sue out in Nanaimo, British Columbia. So we did an evening shoot. We arrived there. I had a cinematographer with me, whose name is Wes, and I worked with him before on 2 other films. So we had a good rapport. We met up in Vancouver, took the ferry over, had a nice evening over at Sue and Rachel's house, and then kind of retreated back to the hotel and got ourselves a bit organized for another 2 days of shooting. So, like I said, we had about 22 hours with our principal subjects, and then I asked Rachel and a few other people who are involved in the vinyl community on YouTube to suggest names of people that I could interview who could reflect on Rachel's Ghost, the TV show, as she used to call it. I'm not sure if she's calling it that anymore. Anyway, so so probably over a 2-month period, I'm going to say, again, October and November of 2024, I sent invites out to probably about 15 people who have participated on Rachel's show one way or another over the last couple of years. I'm going to say probably about 10 people, 10 or 12 people agreed. A couple of people said, no, thank you. And 2 or 3 people didn't reply. Actually, it was probably more than that. I'm being nice. So it was quite a process. And then I decided that I would just restrict the interviews to like 1 hour. Organized myself on was it Vimeo, or it could have even been here on StreamYard, recorded those 1 hour interviews. And all those 1 hour interviews were in fact conducted before I went out to British Columbia. So I already had a pretty good idea as to perhaps some of the stories that or one or two of the storylines or themes that I was hoping to develop while I was, or after I'd come home and started to cut the film together. So there you go. Let me know if you have any questions, and feel free to to drop questions in the chat, or if you want to come up, let me know. Excuse me. So so where am I at? So in the end, I probably shot about 10 interviews. So that's another 10 hours of footage, 22 hours of footage. And then I printed out all of the transcripts from all of the internet interviews, printed out all the transcripts from the 24 hours of footage from British Columbia. And basically for the next 2 months, so what's that, kind of December and January of this year, going into this year, I just sat at home with a stack of this is old school, right? Stack of paper, photocopy them, obviously, stapled them, and just went through every interview. And this is all actually back in Toronto. I still have all the notes, and basically just went through all the conversations, everything that I had on tape, highlighted them, and that is basically the first step to trying to what brainstorm, trying to get a sense as to what commonalities, what threads, what conversations were could be put together during the editing process. So maybe I'll step back a little bit too. Those of you who are interested, and again, drop me a note in the comment section if you want to know anything else. But before I interviewed everyone, of course, I'd done a lot of research. I'd watched a show for a while. I had a series of conversations with participants. Had a or at least two pre-interviews. It was funny. Just this morning, I watched the pre-interview because I was thinking of maybe finding some outtakes to post online as well. Yeah, no pressure. So, so basically, all that to say that I pre-scripted, as you need to do, a number of questions, a number of threads, conversations that I wanted to kickstart when I had my subjects in front of the camera, right? You can't just show up and not do anything. Hey, Marty, how's it going? Let me know if you have any questions or if you want to come up. But yeah, I'm just talking a little bit about the film, what went into the film. So I'm going to say that I probably had about 3 or 4 story ideas in my head before I flew out to Vancouver, and most of those ideas were around. My background is as a political filmmaker. I'm interested in telling stories about contemporary politics, right? So that was kind of the first lens, or the first set of questions that I wanted to ask. There was obviously a set of people involved in the show. They had gone through COVID together, which I thought was an interesting process in and of itself. They're very unique, right? I don't think we talk about it as much. I think everyone's really happy to move past the COVID area as quickly as possible. But I think that time in our lives was how to put it, was maybe a testing ground or a petri dish. Anyway, I think it cultivated a lot of very strong emotions, a lot of needs, a lot of desires, just for obvious reasons that we were all stuck at home together. Or, sorry, not at home together, by ourselves or with our immediate families. Why don't I stop there? I'll take some questions. Where were you of VC volatile opinions and factions that were bound to hover over the documentary? Did this worry you? Or is that actually part of the draw? Personally, I think I'll keep this up for a second here. Thanks for the question, 4D man. Was it part of the draw? No, I can very honestly say I was not really interested in the drama. It actually made me very nervous. There's a number of ways to answer that. As a filmmaker, I wanted to keep some distance. I wanted to be able to see, obviously, through the trees. I wanted to be able to have different perspectives and be able to step back and be able to, I'm trying not to say objectively, but have different perspectives and understandings of what was going on amongst these people on the show, but also what I was hearing from people individually before I even started to shoot the film, and then of course during and after the production of the film itself. So, having said that, I think that we can all admit and recognize that there is a lot of drama, on cultivated purposefully on YouTube, right? Drama, conflict, all of those things sell. So, it'd be disingenuous for me to say I didn't recognize that the conflicts, the personalities, the acting out, the volatile opinions, or here as you put here 40 man, that wasn't part of the appeal. Right? Obviously, that was part of the appeal, but I think I always wanted to kind of be at a distance from that. But I think that, and I've mentioned this to a number of people in the VC, including maybe some people who may be in the room already, um, that it was very difficult, right? Because people in the VC, people on Rachel's who participate on Rachel's show and many other shows are heavily invested in the shows. They're heavily invested in participating on the shows. They're heavily invested as hosts of the shows, and so those are that emotional investment. I think perhaps an intellectual investment to some degrees as well. Um, were Hey John, how you doing? Those those investments they weren't surprising to me. I've done a lot of work on the internet. I've written books about the internet. I've taught courses about the internet and online communities and virtual life. So these are not new concepts to me. They're well trodden concepts and ideas that I've been thinking about and writing about for many years now. But that's different, right? Of course, than actually um, collaborating with and trying to have conversations with and try to produce a film about these communities and these emotions. That's really long-winded. I hope that starts to answer your question. But absolutely, does the film capture capture those volatile opinions, those cliques, right? Those insecurities. Yeah, I think they do. Um, I wish, having said that, I wish I would have had two or three other people who had other opinions, perhaps some stronger opinions about the show. There were quite a few people. This is not a secret. I spoke about this before. Who were I was actually quite surprised, if not a little shocked, actually, at the emotion coming from people who didn't want to participate, right? Or who started to participate and then said, "Actually, you know what, Greg, I'm not really okay with participating." So there were kind of two groups, right? But and I have some obvious ethical considerations. I don't want to push people into doing something that they don't want to do. That's highly dubious. You never want to do that as a filmmaker. At least I don't. Um, but I do kind of. I think those voices, and maybe as I'm going to have a few conversations on a few other streams over the next week or two, and maybe we can get into it a little bit more. But I think the film might lack from some might have missed something with some of those stronger voices, if that makes any sense at all. Do you know what I mean? But having said that, was the film, because there's so much acting, because there's so much attention seeking on YouTube, not yeah, again, not just on Rachel's show, but on many other YouTube shows. I think what I also feared was that I wouldn't be able to get authentic voices, right? That I wouldn't be able to get get behind the masks, get beyond the acting, and that was something that was really important to me. And I think that is something that I was able to do to varying degrees. I think some folks came up on screen. Well, I'll use some names. I'm sure that they don't mind me saying names. I thought Mazzy was actually very forthright on some questions, right? Um, I don't think now that I think about it, I think that I did get quite a bit. I thought Rob. I think Rob has one or two of the most important moments of the film. Probably when people see the film, or if you've seen it already, you're probably wondering why. It's just a very personal thing for me. But I thought Rob was very insightful. He was very um, forthcoming, but he was very insightful in the way in which he talked about Rachel's show. And for me, that was incredibly important as a storyteller to have someone say, listen, let me characterize the show for people who might not understand it, right? Anyhow, I'm trying to keep up with the comments here. High praise. Wow, Marty, I don't know about that. I don't know about high praise, but um, you'll probably start to hear more criticism, which is good. I have my own critiques as well. So I wish we had I would have had more content. I was those of you who know Rachel and her stream may know or probably know that not soon after we were out shooting the film, again in November. So this is kind of November. When did she close her? She had a little bit of a tussle with some people in the peanut gallery, and boom, she shut her show down. She closed her account, and that was a difficult time for me as a filmmaker, right? I I was at home, as I said before. I'd gone through all the footage. I had what I had. It was kind of I was trying to put a box around it, if that makes sense, right? I need to tell a story out of what I have. I don't have anything else, so I need to tell a story with what I have. But now all of a sudden, this major event had taken place where the main subject of the film, the program that I was, the show, the TV show, even in the title, the TV show was no more. And so that kind of threw a big curveball, a huge curveball actually, and I wasn't quite sure how to deal with it. And maybe again, I'm going to go on Rachel's show on Sunday, and then uh, Chance has invited me onto his show, and maybe I'll have some more time to reflect, and I can talk a little bit more clearly, enthusiastically about what that all meant. But in retrospect, I think one thing that it did mean was that I couldn't expand anymore outside of what I already had. Um, and I guess that's the problem with any filmmaker. You always want to have more. You want to be able to go back and reshoot. Um, Time passes by, and you feel like this story is evolving. So I think my producer said to me, and one of my editors said to me, Greg, you've got this snapshot, right? You can try to provide as much context as you can, but for 30 minutes, 33 minutes, or a 33-minute film, there's only so much context you can give, and you have to let the story come out of the quote unquote the characters themselves. As many of you know, the people who go on to Rachel's Ghost show are quite interesting people. They tend to be very articulate people, very bombastic people. Are not don't hide behind the camera, so on and so forth. Anyhow, what else we got here? So yeah, 33 minutes, and I think actually that is a perfect length. Initially, when I talked to Rachel and Sue and was pitching the film to see if they were interested in doing it with me, if they wanted to be on camera, I think I said it could be anywhere from, it was going to be a short film. I said, this is going to be a short film, which is a way of kind of covering your ass as a filmmaker, right? It could be 5 minutes. It could be it could be 45 minutes. And I think very quickly after I put together the first cut or the rough cut of the film, we were at 40 minutes, and then my professional editor came along and cut it down to 33 minutes. So I think that's a perfect perfect length. Let's see what else we got here. Let me go to this one first. This is probably a quicker one. No, no, Michael is not in the film. I tried to convince him, but unfortunately, he's not interested. Maybe, hopefully, he'll agree to do a chat with me, or there'll be an opportunity, privately or publicly, to talk about the film. I know he's an important figure, and is still and remains a very important figure, of course, in the vinyl community online in Germany and around the world. But sadly, yeah, he's not in the film. What else? What else we got here? Right, right. Thanks. Might have crossed the mind of those ambivalent about being interviewed was blowback. An implicit question whenever discussing any VC conflict is always, whose side are you on? To if I'm understanding the question right, 40 man, whose side are you on? I wasn't really particularly interested in factions. I think that there are factions, obviously, online. There are, I think I used the word cliques. And it's certainly in the film. I think there's no way to make a film without seeing some of those differences and jealousies and personality conflicts, if that's the way to put it. But no, that wasn't a way for me. I didn't think about that as a way for me to enter into any kind of dialogue. Um, I think in many ways, I was interested in why people participated, as opposed to why are you on this show instead of that show, if that makes sense, right? Um, I was interested in knowing what people thought about each other on this particular show, why people participated, what they liked about the show, what drew them to the show, what they thought other people thought about the show. So I did open the door to other opinions, of course, right? I think a lot of people in the vinyl community will be really interested in this film. Will be very interested in this film, but that's not why I made this film. This is not the audience for this film. It's one audience, but it's not the audience. It's not, when I set out to do the film, I thought, oh, I'm going to make a film for people who already know about vinyl collecting. I'm going to, no, right? I'd rather show this to a room full of people who know nothing about um, communities on YouTube, know nothing about how different jealousies and different factions and cliques engage or not engage with each other online. I'm much more interested in again, as a filmmaker, you want to be in the cinema, in the screening room, and you want to be able to hear people. You want to hear them laugh, hopefully. You want to hear the silences, you want to hear the gasps, and hopefully maybe a little bit of applause at the end. That sounds like a lot, actually, probably way too much for this film, for a 33-minute film. But all that to say is, or I won't say you, I'll say I want to show something new to people, more so than whose side are you on, or do you buy this version of something that you know about, or which, or hey, listen to how someone talks about someone else that you know. Frankly, I find that kind of boring. Again, that's not to say that people in the VC won't find that boring. I think a lot of people find it really interesting, and that's why I'm assuming the Green Day junkie man here is asking about Michael 45, is because people want to know what his take is on Rachel and her show, I guess. Anyway, more questions. What do we got? Uh, Yeah, are you? Okay, yeah, this actually helps, and I still do, if we want to pull this back up, I still do get people right up until yesterday. Not so much this morning. I haven't been paying attention to things this morning or today. I had people asking me questions about my allegiances, right? If that's the way of putting it. Greg, are you, and that comes out in different ways, right? Um, Greg, are you, at the beginning it was, Greg, are you making a film to kind of take down this person, to Rachel or Mazzy or Rob? Are you making a film to criticize them, to directly take them on? And of course not. No, no. Or I shouldn't say of course not. I would say absolutely. I would leave the option open for criticism, but that's not what motivated me. That's not what made me think, okay, I want to make a film to do this. No, I want to make a film to understand what's going on. Because in the first instance, it was like, I have no bloody idea what's going on. Right. And for me, that was captivating. For me, I thought it's a very personal project in that way, right? It was purely me going, there's something really weird going on the show. And I kind of want to know more about it. And I think other people might be interested in the stories that might come out of this journey that I go on for 12 plus months to figure out what motivates people to start a YouTube channel, to promote it, to engage in certain behaviors, to talk in certain ways, so on and so forth on YouTube, right? There's some more here. Sorry, I don't want to rabbit on too much. And let's take another question from someone else. Ryan, hey, welcome, Ryan. Where did the motivation from the film come from? I guess I was just talking about that. Was there a moment after you found Rachel that was the time when you said internally, this would be a good film opportunity? Yeah, I guess I just talked a little bit about that. But I think that, yeah, I've been looking for, I was talking about, I don't know, Ryan, if you were here before, but I was talking about how perhaps I underplayed or I didn't have enough time in the film to talk about the significance of COVID, right? And the significance of COVID for the vinyl community, the significance of the COVID era for others who participated in different communities on YouTube, right? Um, so I think I'm no different from many people that I participated more, I watched more videos, um, and I think that I just found myself at home by myself for a short amount of time while my family were out of town, and I started to watch Rachel's show a little bit more. I actually started watching other videos relating to record collecting and music. And then I kind of found my way. I've told the story a few times. I kept on hearing, this person's name. Oh, well, we don't talk about these things on, go to Rachel's channel to talk about these things. And I kept on hearing these same kind of references to Rachel, or, and they were always, they were always kind of curious, these kind of liminal references to, you want to trash talk or you want to engage in some kind of liminal kind of activity or banter or debate or harsh language, then it doesn't happen on this show, but it happens on this other show hosted by this person called Rachel. So and I was already trying to find new shows and figure out who had things to say about vinyl record stores and collecting and on a personal level jazz records as well. So I eventually found my way there. I'm at home by myself. I still got a few weeks, solo, and at home, and I started to watch her show, and as I said before, I found it confusing, but I also found that it was really, I think some people talked about this who I interviewed, said they found it really appealing, or some people said it was addictive. I don't know if I found it addictive, But I definitely found myself going back to the show to try to see what was really going on. So there was an appeal actually on one poll. The other poll was, Rachel won't mind me saying this at all, nor will anyone else for that matter, is kind of a degree of kind of shock and disgust and horror at the same time, or back and forth, or maybe at the same time. Um, and so I think I went through and maybe this is an experience that other people had as well. So I kind of subscribed, unsubscribed, watched, didn't watch, kind of laughed, and then kind of vomited, probably over a couple of weeks. And then at the end of this kind of 2 or 3 week period, when my family had been away, they'd come back from a holiday, and I didn't know what, and I obviously had more things to do around the house and at work, and so I think it was then that I realized, no, this is really kind of grabbed hold of me in some way, and for many years since COVID, since my last film, I had been looking for a film to make, a new documentary film to make. I'd made 3 films beforehand, so so I guess it kind of fell into my lap. Is that the best way to put it? I don't think it really fell into my lap, but anyway, let me put this out here. Whoop, that's not what I wanted to do. No, I'm just gonna say, oh la la. It's been a while since I've actually uh done a stream, so I forgot how to do these things now. Anyway, if people want to come up, let me know. Um, so yeah, let me know if you have any other questions. So that, so basically, I've kind of talked a little bit about the genesis of the film. Um, the production was, I think some of you might know, I got a concussion halfway through it, so the whole film kind of slowed down, became harder to process mentally, but maybe that was a good thing actually. Probably the film probably would have been done if I hadn't, in 6 months, if I hadn't knocked my head way back in, when was it, January, February of this year. But in the spring of this year, I started the kind of promotional distribution part of the process, and attended a couple documentary film festivals. And that was interesting because it the documentary film industry is not in great shape, right? Like all media industries, the documentary film industries has really been disrupted by the all these different platforms, um, different changing tastes, changing ways in which people pay for media or don't pay for media. So the amount of money and audiences too. I think it's more of an issue of audiences rather than money. I think there is some money out there to find to make films, and I've had some success doing that. But finding an audience or a distributor or finding someone to screen your film, I think that's become harder and harder. So straight out of the gate, I made a film, received an award, a nomination, was shown around the world, probably at a dozen, no, probably more than that, probably 20 venues, including screens like cinema houses in my hometown in Toronto, up in Ottawa. Um, uh, but uh, but yeah, it just seems like with every new film that I make, I think the films are getting better. I think they're more sophisticated. Obviously, I've grown as a filmmaker, but it's harder and harder to have the film distributed to actual audiences. So I think that this film is going to be um, harder to find film festivals again. If you're interested, you should check out the film. You should watch the film because it's not really an easy watch. Those of you who know Rachel's Ghost, know that sometimes the show can be a little wacky, and some of the language can be a little over the top. So for festival audiences, that might be a little bit too much. Um, and in fact, there was a very quick turnaround for one film festival, and they got back to me really quickly and said, I should write this down. Actually, it was the language was really interesting. It was kind of like, I don't think we're going to be able to show your film. It was the kind of like, this was the email from the festival programmer. Uh, it suggested that the film was unique, shall we say? Is that one way to put it? Anyway, I'm just finding the link here so I can share it with people. Your film is unique. Anyway, so I've already had some feedback from the film festivals, or just one, that suggests that maybe the content of the film might be a bit too risque, might be a bit too harsh for some audiences or film festival programs, right? All right. Ryan's got another question here. Sorry about that. Did it take much effort to get Rachel to agree to participate? No, not at all. And I'm going to say that, what did I do? I think I emailed her. I think I posted a few comments on her show off and on over 3 months, I'm going to say. I don't think Rachel may have recognized my handle here, OJC's, a few times, but we didn't really have any major exchanges on or off the show. Maybe a couple exchanges on the show when I was trying to wind her up, or she was trying to wind me up. But once I thought, okay, I'm gonna pitch this to her. I'm gonna see if she's interested. I sent her an email, and she emailed back. Her and Sue emailed back, I think, within a couple hours. And I think Rachel said, yeah, let's do it. Because I sent a proper introduction. I think I probably used my formal email, associated with my workplace. Gave a long-winded introduction, laid out my CV and credentials, right? So that isn't to say that she didn't know who I was or can be trusted, but I was a little surprised. I was a little taken aback because Rachel just kind of said, yes, let's do it. But I think then I suggested, well, let's have a chat, right? Let's have kind of what I call a pre-interview. And the pre-interview is super important, right? The pre-interview is first impressions, right? It's a first impression for documentary subjects, the people who are hopefully going to agree to participate in the film. And then it's also, for me as a filmmaker, the first opportunity to kind of see these people, to see Rachel and Sue, her producer and partner, to see them outside of their show, to see them as quote unquote regular people, right? To see, to gauge, their level of enthusiasm. My last film probably had about 6 people in them, and no, strike that. My last film that didn't work out, I pre-interviewed someone, and they were really very excited about telling their story. They shared the book, a very personal book that they had written that was full of very, very personal details. They shared that with me. So we quite quickly started quite a, I would say intimate, but what I would say is a very trusting relationship. But after 3 months, I had to call quits to that film project because I realized that the subject was in fact not ready to tell their story. So that that particular experience of putting a lot of time and energy and spending quite a bit of money on pre-production, and I'd done one day of production. So I'd probably spend, I don't know, maybe $10,000 on the film, and I had to throw it in the garbage. I had to throw it in the bin. So that really, that profoundly affected me. So when I spoke to Rachel, I was probably considerably more nervous than she was, and I wanted to take things a little slowly. But we did a pre-interview. I recorded the pre-interview. I probably won't share that because that's more of a private conversation. But I did watch it again, whatever, for some reason this morning, and it is a kind of getting to know you, right? And what makes you tick? What would you be interested in doing? What would be out of bounds? I think that's a question I asked. Is your family out of bounds? I think I asked questions like that. Talking about your marriage, is that out of bounds? So it's just a way to kind of kickstart the conversation and see what the contours of the storyline could become, right? See what the limits of the film are, if there are hard limits or soft limits. And there were, without getting into too much, there were a few limits. I was very happy with that conversation. Um, so I think that we just kept in touch and had a few conversations online, and then talked more about logistics. Made sure, for me, it's all about, I want people to be comfortable. I want them to feel like they're invested in the film somehow, right? It's a fine line, right? Because I'm the filmmaker, I'm the director. I'm going to make the changes that I make. I'm going to tell the story that I want, but at the same time, you want people to enjoy the experience, right? You want people to at least find it engaging. You know, that's why, as I said before, I'm not interested in kind of gotcha journalism or any of that kind of stuff. So I find filmmaking, for me, filmmaking, documentary filmmaking is a great, it's an art of collaboration when it works the best, and that everyone benefits, everyone learns something, and everyone's challenged one way or another, including, of course, most importantly, I think, all of you, right? Hopefully, the audience. So here's the cheesy part of my live stream. How long have we been going for? Almost an hour, but I'll probably go for a little bit more. So yeah, feel free to drop some more questions down. But yeah, so I do have a few more debts, a few $1,000s that I need to pay off, but I need to keep the premiere of the film for film festivals. This is how the film industry works. So I'm just doing this kind of private, online only screening. The film's only $5.99, $6, so $6 US. And am I going to give a money back guarantee? Should I give a money? Maybe I should have done that. Huh? Maybe I should have said, if you really, really hated the film, I'll give you your money back. But I'm not going to do that. Maybe I'm wrong. May think about it. What do you think about that? I should have done something like that. Anyway. So who gives money back guarantees on films? Everyone cut and paste that. Write that down. This is where you can rent the film. I'm only renting the film for the next 3 weeks, because then it's going to go into circulation, broader public circulation for film festivals and so forth. Okay, so let's go back to Ryan. Ryan, was there any footage that you wanted to include, but ultimately you decided to leave out due to any concerns? Wow. Yeah. Mm. Oh yeah. Wow. That's a really good question. But let me not answer it right now. Hang on. It's going to be available for 3 weeks. I'll come back to it, Ryan. Okay. It's going to be available for 3 weeks, starting starting today. Okay, so it's a limited release, and then after the film festival circuit, which could actually be, so it may, you probably won't be able to see it until at the very least like June or July, the very earliest. So if you're interested in seeing it, you should definitely see it now. Okay, how about that for a sales job? So Ryan, I was more worried about as a director, right? The editors have a very important role, and editors often take the film and run away, and they kind of put together the film for you. You have conversations with them. You tell them what the story is, or what you think it is, what you want the film to be about, so on and so forth. The editors have a mind of their own sometimes, right? So I think I was probably a little bit more concerned that about footage that would be left out that I thought was that I was, for one reason or another, really attached to, that I thought was crucial to telling the story, right? That captured um, that captured the crux of someone's personality, the nature of a sub theme in the story, whatever it is. That was really important because things got dropped, right? Things got cut out of the film, and there were times where I had to come back and say, no, put that in. We need so and so saying that, um, because it helps us to understand the dynamics amongst people on the show, right? So that was foremost in my mind. Um, Now we're so did I have any concerns? There is a sequence in the film that got cut out that had very strong language. Um, and very strong language. It was delivered in a very vociferous way. And even now, I'm still a little concerned that that's going to be a little too off-putting for audiences or film festival programmers. So yeah, there's that. There's also, I think that I honestly think I agree with Rachel. Rachel from the beginning said, you know what, Greg, people are not going to want to see a trans person who supports Trump. I think that there is a subsection of the population that is not going to be happy with me making a film or with a film that that focuses on a trans person who is not who does not espouse certain trans positive politics, to put it that way, right? Or put it another way, a trans person who supports Trump. I think people will find that really um, difficult to watch, frustrating. People will say, "Why are you?" I'm sure people are going to say, "Why are you platforming um, this person who trans or otherwise, who supports Trump?" Well, what's so? Why'd you do that, Greg? We'll see. We'll see if that comes to fruition. Um, I think that people may not want to watch a film about MAGA related politics too, because in Canada, people are furious, right? That's where I live. I think half the festivals I sent to are in Canada. I think that there might be a reaction to it, right? People may not want it. People are tired of it. People are frustrated. People are upset about what Trump is doing to Canada, and I think because of that. But those are kind of big questions, right, Ryan? I think that um, there was one sequence in the film where the veracity of sexual assault claims were called into question. Right, when I was submitting the film to film festivals, I think that there was a question. I'm going to say about half of the film festivals asked questions that I needed to answer when I submitted the film about would people find it offensive? It was varying, right? Would people is there harsh language? Is there hate speech? Is there would people be triggered by this? Like, there's all these questions around the nature of the content, and that was a little difficult to navigate, right? And for me to be truthful about what's in the film and what is said in the film. And it's difficult because sometimes these things are made in jest. Some people might not care. Some people may be deeply offended, even though they're made in jest. Sometimes I'm deeply offended. Some of these things are made in jest, right? Or are purportedly made in jest. So yeah, so there are moments in the film. Did it impact me enough to leave it out? No. I don't think I cut anything out of the film that, like, did I self-censor? Did I cut anything out of the film that I thought people would have been like, "Oh my god, that is so hateful," or I don't think I did. I really don't think I did. But that's a great question. Anyhow, let's continue on. Very long-winded answer, right, Ryan? Sorry about that. Hope that helped. Hope that answered your question. You guarantee to insure each viewer against possibility of heart attack whole viewer. Can I, Karen? Can I guarantee? No, no, I'm not going to give that guarantee. I think I'd give a guarantee, money back guarantee before I give any kind of health guarantee. Health guarantee. Okay, I lied. There was one bit in the film. There's one bit in the film actually that I included in the film, but that I can't watch. I can't watch it anymore. No, there's two. There's one that I spoke about when there was some heavy duty language, but there's another one, and I don't want to give it away. But there is a good 30 seconds, 20 seconds of the film that I'm trying to keep a straight face here. That is just so painful because I've seen it over and over and over again. That 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 I had to fast forward through, even on the final cut from the editor and the sound editor. I listened to it for 2 or 3 seconds and then moved all the way through it because so yeah, I was triggered by it. I was triggered by my own film. There you go. So maybe I should get a money back guarantee. You know, while, all the while. Any more questions, you guys? I'm gonna sit here in silence until you throw some more questions at me. But yeah, so so it's a film triggering. I think Mazzy at the beginning of the film, I'll give you one quote. He says something like, to the extent, excuse me, of this Rachel's ghost, this show is not about this. I'm totally butchering it. This channel, this show is not for everyone. That's right at the beginning. The show is not for everyone. Thanks, Mazzy. Good introduction. But yeah, as a filmmaker, that's gold, right? He's laid down the marker already, and it's like I said, it's too much for me. It's too much for me. Anyway, so if it's too much for you, maybe you can just tell me the proportion of the film that was too much for you, and then I'll refund you the amount back that you spent on the rental. How about that? We can have a negotiation. Oh shit. I'm having too much fun here. Way too much fun. All right. What percent ratio? That's a contradiction, though. Is a ratio or percent? I don't know. I failed math so many times. What percent does your film have between backstage interviews and clips? Good question of the actual Rachel's Ghost show. Wow, that's a really good question. Well, the funny thing is that because I've interviewed people in the same format, right? Not on the show. But when I talked to Rob, when I talked to Jade Star, when I talked to Mazzy and others, this is the image that you see from them, right? Not this one, but their living room, their dining room, wherever they stream from. So you'll see that those of you who know the show, they'll be very familiar frames, right? So in many ways, it's kind of like you're seeing a film about the show, because we are following the show. I use parts of the video from the show, from the stream itself. Rachel gave me the stream, 2 days of the stream of the show. I didn't say that before. 6 hours. That's 6 hours of her show, right? And then we had an A and B camera in the living room that we cut from, right? So you would see in the film, you'd see part of the show from the stream from way back when, okay? And then you would see a camera shot from over here, and then you see a camera shot from over there at Sue, right? So there's a stage. We show a staging of the show itself, which includes the show. And then when we have these interviews, we cut away to these single framed shots of people, of the interviews that I did with Mazzy and Speak of the Devil and others, right? So for those of you, and then not just those of you in the know, but also people who don't know anything about YouTube, who I'm hoping see the film, it will feel perhaps quite what's the word? Quite mediated, quite YouTube like, quite internet like, right? And so the only non-screen mediated footage is, as I said before, those A and B cameras that were in Sue and Rachel's home, and a little bit of, as I've always called it, kind of halftime storytelling, where we left the house and did some shooting in and around the city where Rachel and Sue live in Nanaimo, British Columbia, a very beautiful part of the world. Sorry, Mazzy, what are you saying here? I did think anything was so outrageous or over the top. There has been a shitload more, on her actual streams, compared to a lot of documentaries. I actually felt it was somewhat tame. Was it tame? I think that I agree with you. Day 2 was tame, and day 2 was tame for some reasons. Also, I think everyone was exhausted on day 2 of shooting. I know Rachel was exhausted, right? But also I think that the second half of the film, what I tried to do is, and Mazzy here is a big part of it, right? Mazzy, not just Mazzy, but other people. It was a very, it was shot on election day and the day after, when we found out that Trump was reelected. There were a lot of strong emotions and strong opinions about what was going on in the U.S. at that time during the elections, of course. And so Mazzy left the show for a while, and that's part of the story, right? There are others who left the show prior to, during, after we were there shooting. So there was a certain mood that you couldn't help escape, I think, when I was there. Well, even before I arrived, while we were shooting on day 2, and then, as I was saying before, obviously leading up to Rachel canceling her show. I think that was really the longer term arc of the story that I was trying to tell in the documentary, was things not being as much fun as they used to. And things are, that's not to say that they're, maybe fun isn't the right word, but they've changed, right? And I kind of was interested in asking the question about whether or not, as Mazzy's put here, this kind of over the topness, this outrageousness was sustainable. And I think the answer, I don't know if you think what you think, Mazzy, but I don't think it was sustainable at all. And that's, I think, it's been borne out in what we see more recently. I'm, you meet didn't. I think Mazzy is on the road with his fat fingers. I meet didn't. I'm gonna have to go meet didn't soon too. What else we got here, Mazzy? Yeah, well, that's a really good point, Ryan. Like, to what degree, Mazzy, I think I asked Mazzy that. I think I asked everyone that question. Sorry, let me put that up again. Not so directly, but I think it's difficult, right? And this is not I'm not accusing Mazzy or anyone else of anything, because I think I became desensitized to it to a degree as well, right? I think everyone is to a degree or in different ways. Maybe familiar with it is a better word. You don't question things as much. You make assumptions about things that become familiar. So I wanted to go into this process to make something that I could share with people for the first time, so that it was quite new, it was unique, it was intriguing, right? So I was always trying to defamiliarize myself, so to speak, right? Um, with what was going on the show, uh, um, and uh, and what was going on when we were shooting. So anyway, thanks everyone for your questions. Mazzy, did you? I think Mazzy's out watching a film or something. Well, it's gotten quiet. Anyone else have any other questions? If not, I'm going to drone on. I'm going to, if there's some silence, then I'm just going to do, then I'm just going to put up the link to make sure you. It's only $5.99. It's a really good deal, and I'm thinking about making a money back guarantee offer. That's the best you're going to get. Sorry, $5.99. It's only up for 3 weeks, and it's not going to be back up until after the film festival season, which is running for at least another 6 to 9 months. Okay, everyone. But let me go back to what Mazzy was saying. Yeah, that's a good question. Actually, Ryan was saying maybe you've been desensitized to it. I think was it you, Ryan, who said, yeah, you asked me before about whether or not I left everything out. There's definitely some things over the top. But actually, now that I think about it, during one scene where there were some really over the top things being said, Mazzy does not react to it at all, and I thought that was hilarious. Do you remember? Do you remember the scene I'm talking about, Mazzy? It's just like Rachel just explodes. Rachel explodes and completely explodes. Like, we're talking beep beep beep. Like, should I be beeping out what she's saying? Right? Like, completely fuckity fuck explodes. Right? We're way worse than that. And I think there's her and Mazzy on screen, and she's totally going after Mazzy, and Mazzy's doing this, or our version of this, like this straight his face. Does that mean that people are desensitized to it, or Mazzy's desensitized? I thought that was an incredible juxtaposition. I'm going to say, and it says something to the audience, right? That or it raises questions with the audience, like, yeah, maybe does Mazzy not care? Do all the participants not care? Are they used to it? Probably. But also questions like, how much of this is real, right? How is Rachel just pretending here? What's going on this show? What's going on in the show? Thanks, Mazzy. Mazzy's been really great and helping me promote this. Follow the advice of the Mazzy's Music Man here. Go rent it. It's cheaper. It's way cheaper. Come on, Mazzy. So yeah, it's been out for a few hours, and yeah, I'm encouraged. A lot of people have been watching it, and I've had a number of emails. I think we will, as I said before, have a chat Sunday at well, what time is it going to be here? Geez, it's 4 o'clock here in Paris. Sunday at 4 o'clock, so that's 3 o'clock in the UK. Rachel will have her stream. What's that, you guys? That's 10 a.m. on the East Coast of Canada and the US, and 7 a.m. on the West Coast of North America. I'll be coming on and chatting. Hopefully, Mazzy will be there, maybe Rob, others. But of course, Rachel and Sue will have their own insight. You know, they have a completely different take, obviously, on what the film's about. Their experience, I think they really had a great time. We all had a great time making the film. You know, I've got tons of photos that I haven't shared, and we did, as some people said to me, yeah, they're fun people to hang out with, and we had a really interesting time when we were out there. So it wasn't difficult to make as a film. It was an enjoyable experience. The crew got along really well with Rachel and Sue. So overall, like it wasn't tense. I would say the most tense moment was when I showed up and Rachel like literally walked into the front door. What was it, like 6 o'clock in the evening, and Rachel came out of her TV room, kind of strode across the room. I'm about 5'10", 5'11". Rachel is what, 6'5", and imposing. This is before before trying to be nice, but you know. Anyway, Rachel is a big person, strode across and kind of shook her hand, and she said, "Why are you here? Why do you want to make a film about me and the show?" And I was just kind of like, because I had like a million things going through my head about what I wanted to do, what I wanted. I was looking around trying to figure out where we're going to set up. And it was just like, boom, what are you doing here? It was great. Anyway, but after that initial kind of tense moment, Rachel kind of eased up, and we ended up having a fun time shooting the film. But I disagree with Mazzy. I disagree with Mazzy. I think that there is quite a bit of over the top. Well, I think some people will find some of the behavior over the top, for sure. Absolutely, they will. I'm going to guarantee that. All right. So Smart Water. Wow. Okay. So there was only 2 thumbs up. Is that 2 thumbs up out of 5? I don't think that's really starstruck. Yeah. So I walked into the room and I was like, oh. No. Would you be starstruck? I was certainly apprehensive, right? I wasn't sure how I'd be accepted. Yeah, I guess that. I guess that makes sense now that I think about it. You know, I'm used to like the 5 stars, 5 tomatoes. How many tomatoes do you give to? Okay, let's see. Shit. Is Melody in the documentary? Yes, Melody is in the documentary, and I'm gonna leave it at that. Melody is in the documentary, and he elicits a lot of strong opinions, and you see a lot of them in the film. And there's a lot of other issues around Melody that have been expressed. I didn't know much about Melody until after the film was done. But anyway, that's another conversation that I'm not entirely prepared to talk about yet. But stay tuned. Yay! Is this Melody? Is this Green Day Junkie 3? Yeah, right. That's probably stunty, actually. Yeah, that's definitely stunty. Yeah, come on, stunty. Um, what else we got here? Hey, Dave, how you doing, Dave? I'm sure it will be a cool documentary when I get some extra money to buy a gift card. I will spend the money and watch it. Come on, it's $5.99, Dave. Like, how much do you spend on a sandwich in for lunch in Wyoming? I bet sandwiches in Wyoming are like $13.99 for a big hearty beef sandwich. And this is going to be a lot more filling than a beef sandwich, I tell you that. Or you're going to have to go to the bathroom and spend more time in the bathroom after you've watched my film than after you've eaten a beef sandwich from Wyoming. There we go. You heard it here first. No, but I think that, again, the film will probably get some kind of general release next summer, something after that. So you should be able to see it for free. Hopefully, no one's gonna copy it and circulate things online. That's really uncool. But yeah. Okay, Marty's off. Thanks for dropping by, Marty. Let's have a chat. Let me know if you're gonna have your stream on Sunday. Although I do need to. This is just a stream to kind of accompany the online launch of the pay-per-view. So I thought I better pop up and justify myself a little bit. But I'm gonna be on Rachel's stream on Sunday, and then if people want me to come up and talk about the film on their shows or channels, please let me know, and we'll find a time to do that. So, like I said, I think I'll be on Surface Noise on the 4th, December the 4th. I believe that's a Thursday, December the 4th. And I know that Chance starts at 9 o'clock Eastern time on December the 4th. And I'll be on about half an hour into the show. So that'll be interesting because maybe Jason, maybe Jason will be there. Jason, what did he call himself in the film? I won't let that one. I won't let him go. But tell me on Chance on Sunday. It's not going to be on Sunday. It's going to be on his weekly show, his live show, which is on Thursday nights. The only problem is that it's going to be 3:30 in the morning Paris time for me. So I'm going to be weirder. I'm going to be weirder. I'm going to be tired. Anyway, so yeah, so that's 9:30 on December 4th. I'll post that again. I'm sure that Chance is going to do a little bit of promo as well, but you'll get a chance to hopefully hear from Jason Rojas on that. Probably, I'm assuming he probably won't be. He probably won't be on Rachel's show on Sunday. Okay, everyone. I think unless there's any other burning questions here, there's about 20 people in the room right now. If you have any more questions, now is the time to ask. Yeah. What? It's awesome here. It's awesome here. It's absolutely awesome. It's cheaper to live here too, actually. Any other questions about the film? Again, why don't we wrap it up if there's no other questions about the film? But again, I encourage you to come see Rachel's show on Sunday. Again, 4 p.m. Central Eastern, 3 p.m. London, 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Pacific. Came out much quicker the second time, didn't it? And if you haven't already, it's a 30-minute film. It's only $5.99, and it's only going to be showing for the next 3 weeks. So come watch it, because then you'll see what we're all talking about when we get into the debate about different exchanges and different behaviors and characters, what you think about Melody. I'll talk more about the 30 seconds of the show that is so cringy that I can't watch it ever anymore. I fast forward through my own show. Can you believe that? I don't even embrace my own documentary. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoy it. I hope that this was Hope this was helpful. Hey, Sue, how you doing? Just here saying a few things about the. Just wanted to come up and give a little bit of context to the launching of the pay-per-view. I wish it could be free. I wish it could be cheaper. I wish it could be for a longer period of time, but there's reasons why it's only for 3 weeks relating to screening it at film festivals. Couple people haven't been paid yet on the film, and I really need some support as much as you can. In the past, I've done crowdfund campaigns, and those are tough things to do. And that I did that for my last film, and it was full time for 6 weeks. I ended up making how much money? I did really well. I ended up making $10,000, maybe $12,000. So it was certainly worth it. But I'm here in France for the year. There are a whole bunch of things that just made it much harder to run a crowdfund. Also, I think crowdfund 5 years ago was easier than crowdfunding today. Much harder to run a crowdfund today. People are spread across multiple platforms, whereas before, a vast majority of people were on Facebook. Makes it much harder to reach people. So I thought it was much easier and to be honest, much more generous just to put the film out and say, hey, if you're interested, it's only $6 US. So it is the fundraiser. I do need the money to pay off debts from the film, but you get to see the film too. So it made a lot more sense. It made a lot more sense to me. Yeah, a little bit of a last minute decision. Sorry. Yeah. Again, do no. I'm going to stick to my 3 week. Although having realized that a lot of films are being released right now, right, Ryan? Like we're in that traditional period of time where films are released um, right before the holidays, the American Thanksgiving holidays. It's a big Hollywood release period of time. So I guess I'm piggybacking on a little bit of that. Like, how many of you I'd be interested in knowing how many people are going to watch this over the next weekend, right? Because I find that when I lived in the States, by Friday I'm like, Jesus, get me out of here. Anyway, hang on, a couple things. Yeah, okay. You can get Rachel to come up. Hang on a second here, everyone. The problem is, it's been so long since I've done one of these things. Shit. And how do I invite people? There we go. I can stay for another 40 minutes, everyone. Mazzy, if you want to come up too and talk about Jason's idiotic comment. Yeah, so I'll Jesus, the gang's all here. But yeah, Jason, if you want to come up and defend yourself. And again, I'm only going to go till 8:00. No, I can go till a little bit past 8. So this needs to be minorly civil, or at least time constrained. Okay. So anyway, yeah, Mazzy, if you want to come up, let me know. Maybe what I'll do is actually get these guys to come up, and then I'll run down and fill up my beer glass. Anyway, I haven't sent the film to any film festivals in the US yet. And this is, maybe I should have led off with this, because film festival entrance fees, which is one of the main reasons why I'm kind of running this fundraiser, are just ridiculous. They're like $100. Although this person's doing it for absolutely free.
How you doing? I'm reversed. I'll reverse myself. Maybe I can reverse myself.
Are you reversed?
Yeah.
Good. No,
Best
you're fine.
Oh, I look fine to you. It's just on. Okay.
You're fine.
Anyway,
So
director.
listen, I have a big question for you.
Yeah.
So was Sue giving you a hard time about, oh my God, Rachel, look how big you were during that film and you've
No,
lost so much weight? Did she comment on?
no,
She didn't comment. She didn't
no,
retro fat shame you or
no,
I
none of
fat
it.
shamed both of us.
No, it's real. No, we both lost weight since then. It was just kind of like after that, but unrelated to it. I just went on the scale, really, literally, and saw 309 pounds. I said, well, that's no good. I got to do something, man. So
I think also when I talked a little bit about this, I don't know if you guys were listening, but it was exhausting. Do you remember how exhausting those 3 days were?
Yeah.
Holy, and yeah, I was completely shattered, right? I think
yeah. See, my think is because you've done this, it's going to be impossible to put a lid on this thing. People are going to want to talk about it. It's going to happen, right?
Yeah. Yeah. For sure.
Frank, good to see you. Good to see Ryan. Everybody watching.
Did you see my text message?
Sue texted you as well, Greg.
No, I didn't. Sorry.
Well, you'll get to it. Basically, she's just saying it. There's no way you're going to keep a lid on this thing.
No.
Because of the nature of the internet, because of the nature of this community.
Yeah. I expected it. It's fine. It's all good.
Okay. Anyway, the important thing is let's get some money in your hands. No, it's important. This is your film, and I tell people, people that ask me, "Oh, your movie, Rachel, and you're Rachel, this thing, and you're the thing." And really, no, I jokingly say I'm the star. No, I'm just simply the star of the flick. But even that's not ultimately true. It's the TV show. It's about all the people, and I think you did a great job on it. And I enjoyed it. And what came across me? Do you want to hear my thoughts on it, or do you want me to?
Yeah. Well, can I just say before that, Rachel? No, I've appreciated how you've talked about it, but I do think that that storytelling in film is collaborative, like absolutely, like who cuts it at the end of the day, who makes the decisions, the editor and the director, for sure. I came with a set of questions. They may have not. You would have come with a whole bunch of different set of questions. I get that, but I think there's something really. I'm going to sound really cheesy here. I think there's something really quite magical and for me, really just exciting and fun to do is to hear from all these different people on screen, yourself, to others who didn't participate in the film, and try to synthesize that. And I can't state how important that is in terms of cultivating a story out of what it is that you ultimately have at the end of the day. So sorry, I just wanted to say that. So yeah, sure, I'm the director, but I think that everyone on screen and off screen also played an incredibly important part in my thinking and me being able to tell a story at the end of the day. Right?
Yeah.
Well, finish the film at the end of the day.
Definitely told the story.
Oh, it tells the story and then some. No, it's extremely well done. Massey's out grocery shopping. That guy, you talk about stars. I tell you, I love Massey.
Massey doesn't eat, does he? I don't.
So now, full disclosure, you, myself, Massey, and a couple other kids are going to be on my program on Sunday. We're going to really hack this over, right?
Yeah. For sure.
No, it's up by Sunday. So,
and I'm really cool with Greg. Why did you do that? I'm fine. I'm all good with defending my choices or hearing like.
Well, it's unassailable. Here's do you want my take on that? I'll give you my take on that. No. You're unassailable. It's your film. It's your vision. You put it together. You said, I want this. I don't want this. I like this. I don't like that. This, it's your gift as an auteur to put it all together in the way that you want it together, and whatever elements and personalities that you wanted highlighted, that's entirely your prerogative. It's unassailable. You cannot criticize it, in my opinion. In my opinion, would I certain things differently? Hell yeah, because at the end of the day, it's kind of my show, right?
I think there's going to be one bone of contention that you probably already know.
Only one, Sue?
Only one, probably one major one.
Is it from you? Is that from you, or who's it from?
No, just from the audience.
No, so just from what we're hearing in terms of the feedback, early feedback.
Yeah.
Let's hear it. I'm ready for it. Let's hear it.
You don't want to discuss on Sunday?
Do you want to wait? Do you want to
hold? We'll wait. We'll wait till Sunday. We'll wait.
Then everybody else can chime in.
And then everybody else can get in.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna say right from the outset, really soon after maybe the project was announced or you put it out there in your show, there was I felt a lot of pressure from people who watched your show I didn't feel it. I received a lot of pressure from people who wanted to know or wanted a particular kind of storytelling, a particular kind of film. I don't want to overstate that, but yes, I agree with you. That, like, the way that you articulated, I agree. That was the way I came to it, with a certain degree of collaboration. But there were a lot of people who were like very suspicious of me. I never felt that from you two, although I think you two had every right to, along with anyone else in the film. And I'm sure you don't know me. We didn't know each other very well at all, right from the get-go. But there were some people who, as you know, we talked about this, who are very invested in the show. Who were kind of like, who is this guy? Okay, it's going to be a film. Am I going to be in it? Or I don't want to be in it? Or is this person going to be mean to Rachel? Or is this person not going to be critical enough of Rachel? Do you know what I mean? So there were, even to yesterday, I'm still getting kind of.
But that's good. In this kind of, at this time, at this juncture, in terms of the film, the release, and what's happening, the buzz around it, this is a great time. Like, this is what you want. You want all these kind of comments to come out, right? Green junkie. Okay. So anyway, I liked it. You know what's nice? Your star likes the movie. I like it. And you know what I like best about it is the humor comes out. The humor comes out. Here's the deal. Like, I mean, to do the thing of the show, it's not, I mean, yeah, we do politics, but it's just an element of it. And so to go take us right down to November 5th, 2024. I mean, that's ground zero of everything political. So it really becomes a political commentary. It becomes a very political film at the end of the day, only by reason of the fact that it's focused and centered around. But I think therein lies the story, right? And at least the story
I think so, right? And from the get-go, I knew I was going to struggle a little bit for a number of reasons with a budget. And not so much the budget, with actually just the mechanics of, like, if I lived in Vancouver or down in Victoria, I would have come up and we would have gone out for lunch a couple times, and I would have said, let's do something a little bit more bigger, longer, ambitious, because I could jump in the car and drive up there and be like, what the hell? What the hell, Rachel? You just dumped your channel, or whatever happened before or after when we were out there, right?
Well, it's really interesting, because now that the film's out, I'll probably, on some level, probably get a bump once we're getting up. There'll be some people some people will like it. Some people will gravitate. Some people go, boy, I sure love Mazzy. Well, you should have made it about Mazzy. Why the hell did you go with that crazy idiot Rachel? With that Trump thing. And that idiot's crazy. You should have done a movie. Mazzy's way more interesting. That kind of thing, right? And which is probably out there, no doubt. But then there'll be some people that are on my side of the aisle, a lesser amount to be sure, in this community, because it's an arts community, and so by virtue of its very subject matter, you're going to get fewer people on the right. and it's reflected in my own channel. I have more people. Mazzy was suggesting yesterday, he said, what the hell's wrong with you, Rachel? You know, if you just would dump all this Trump shit, you know, you could have thousands of subscribers, but I don't care, right? There's my integrity. There's the artist to me. I'm not playing that game.
Yeah.
What I care about is I just go in and I'll talk about whatever interests me, however it interests me, whatever I find funny at any given time. To hell with the world. I just do what I do. Now, with that in mind, I do want to suggest, Sue and I have talked about it, and we could probably get my ass out if you're doing something in Alberta and you need me to show up there, or even Vancouver. If you're doing some sort of promo thing in Vancouver, I could certainly make those venues.
We can. They're
right now. So that's another wrinkle for you, right?
Yeah, no, this is the start of a different process, right? And it's no less labor intensive, definitely no less expensive.
Yeah,
because you get into a decent festival. I got into a festival with my last film in Cape Town, and I just had to go. It was one of the top international film festivals, right? I got into, and they give you $300. You know, that cost me $3,000.
Yeah,
so you think, oh, the film's done, and you know, maybe you have some screening, a short fundraiser, but there's an intense amount of promotion, and yeah, are you going to be able to get your protagonists, your cast, to show up, right? And so
the beauty for you is you are in France, so when we go to Cannes, it's going to be a lot cheaper for you. It's going to be more affordable that way. Holy shit, stunt day! Holy crap, stunt rock.
So do you remember when I called you up and I said, what's going on with not stunting? What's going on with Melody? We don't need to follow that. We don't need to follow that thread.
Yeah.
I think everyone knows what we're talking about.
Yeah.
I mean,
he deserves it for that song. Yeah, that's funny. Okay, well, go ahead.
The song is worth $5.99, isn't it, Rachel? Don't you think?
The song alone is worth frickin' $100 right there, man. That's going to rocket to number one.
Oh,
but you know, it's a really human story at the end of the day. You know, it's funny. My takeaway, honestly, is there's a lot of humor in it, and I think I'm happy you captured that part. I think you captured it very, very well. And how amazingly quick-minded, like I'm amazed at myself, because I don't watch myself after the show. I'm out, right? I very seldom do I sit around watching myself. And just seeing you put it together and just seeing this stuff, some of the dialogue, I mean, it is, you know, cover your ears if you don't like F-bombs and swear words, and like, it's pretty raw that way.
Sorry, Sue.
I was just going to say, even what you covered in the movie, like Rachel's been way more out there
than what we saw in the film.
On the film.
You know, I've been worse, let's say, right? I've been worse, but anyway, I think it was masterful. Your editing people did great. The music, it's very professional. The whole thing is so well.
The editor is awesome. I love the editor. It's the first time, my second editor. It's the first time I worked with her.
Yeah.
And she took a first rough cut that I was struggling with. Wasn't very happy with, I'll be honest. Yeah. I was not happy at all with the first cut. I was very frustrated.
Yeah.
And then I took a pause over a good 6 weeks, talked to a lot of people, pulled a lot of favors, showed a lot of the content, basically I didn't really talk about this so much. That was a really important time for the film. I'm going to say,
what were your contacts? What was their response? Well, I'm very curious because we're in a very isolated, very insular community with the vinyl community. You know, how many people are around, right? Not many at the end of the day. And so here you are talking to people outside of this vinyl record collecting community of ours.
Yeah.
And so I'm curious what they said. Sure. Like, holy shit, what do you got here? And I'm really curious now that you've got the finished product. But the trailer is so good too. The trailer is pithy and captures everything. In the end, you know, kind of like there's enough here to offend everybody. What a perfect say goodbye line.
I'm worried I'm worried there might be too much to offend everyone. I'm gonna try to find. You remember I told you that there's a film festival just down the street from you guys, right? On one of the islands, Salt Spring Island, one of the Gulf Islands, for those of you who aren't from that part of the world. And one of my films previously screened there, but as Rachel or Sue will tell you, it is probably one of the most liberal places in Canada.
Oh, extremely.
It has the most per capita PhDs living on this island, and they really liked my critical film about the G20 from many years ago, which was a straight up kind of critique of policing and whatnot. But granted, I think I submitted the film to them, Salt Spring Film Festival, very late, and I think they did me a favor by looking at it because I'm an alumni of the festival. But they sent me an email saying, "Well, Greg, I don't think we'll be able to screen your film."
Yeah.
But the way that it was written had a certain
you know what was there. Trump. Yeah. Well, you know, it's the whole issue is it's kind of like when Jimmy Fallon, I think it's Jimmy Fallon, you know, he grabbed Trump's hair and gave him a little rub. And that's kind of like the you know, it humanized Trump, and so the left really reacted negatively towards that, right?
So have you got any other screenings that are for sure at this point, or is that for the future?
Sorry, Sue. Someone no name mentioned, someone already suggested this to me. And I think I rejected it very quickly. Oh, there he is.
No, there, yeah. Standing out of himself.
That's a good way to put it. I don't have Stunty tonight, and we're not going to do a film about melody. Sorry.
You put the comments up like that. Billy was going, I'm more out there than I was when the film was made. I don't think so, because what we do is I put the I created the political channel for a lot of it to offset a lot of the political discourse. But if you get somebody generally like Mazzy on her, and our peanut gallery, we got some really passionate people on the left. So they'll go, "Hey, Rachel, what do you think about this?" And of course, I'll never back down. So, you know, I'll bite at it for them and say, well, you know, fuck you. Here's my take on that.
But do you remember when I first arrived and you kind of said, "Greg, what are you doing here? Why do you want to make a film?" And I think my answer to you was, at the time, it's probably changed about 5 other times during the weekend, but was that I was interested in the fact that you had a mix of political opinions. But that's changed now, right? You know,
well, not really. Even not on the main show. The Rachel's Ghost is still a mix.
It's still the same.
And in fact, it's more. There's
don't you think it's changed from when I came November of last year? You don't think it's changed?
No, not a bit. I don't think it's changed.
I'd be interested in knowing what other people think about it. I think it has changed.
No, it hasn't changed at all. The only thing that's changed about it is we've got liberal reactionaries that go, "I'm not going to watch that anymore," and you know, I'm going away and do all this, and I go, "Good, go." So you know that's been the same forever. You just got a few more liberals that I've tossed aside. That's about the only difference. But the subject matter, I talked yesterday's show. I did a show yesterday, talk about Anthology 4, the Beatles' latest album. And we talked, you know, Mazzy came on and we talked a little bit, not really about the film a whole lot. Then we had Joey Callio on with David Donnelly. We talked their bands, and they've both got albums coming out or music coming out, one variety or the other.
Let's talk about that more on Sunday. I'd like to. Who's going to be there on Sunday on your show when we talk more about the film? Who do you think is going to be there?
Mazzy and Rob will be there. I'm hoping Sarah will come.
Mazzy and Rob will be there. We might get the Raging Tomato on there as well on panel. Joey
said he'd be there, didn't he?
Joey Callio might make an appearance for it. David Donnelly will be there.
I saw that Jade commented on your stream the other day. That was the first time in a long time, right?
Jade popped by. But her statement to me is nothing. There's nothing between her or me. There's no bad feelings. There's nothing there. There's no there. She simply says she's busy. That's her response.
Plus
Got
the,
super busy.
Time zone has always been
and the Australian time zone. It's just brutal.
I thought that Jade's contribution of the film was really, really interesting.
It was good.
Yeah, I liked her. Her segment was very good.
Had a really interesting story, which didn't parallel yours, but it kind of contrasted, spoke to your story, maybe.
Yeah.
Your journey a little bit, not to get too cheesy.
Yeah.
Which I thought take a little bit of the pressure or the camera off of you, and to introduce the other themes, right, at that point in time during the film. Right?
Yeah.
Which was setting up that kind of halftime, right?
All the individuals that you got to feature and the interviews, they're all good. Every one of them is fine. Jason's fine. Mazzy's good. Rob is good. Everybody's good. Tokyo Brian's good. Everybody's good. Would they have now, as a collective, have been the voices I would have selected to reflect and ponder or posit thoughts about my own program? Not necessarily so, but you're the director. It's your vision.
Who did we miss? Who did we miss out on then? I'd love to hear what you.
In the final cut, I think Joey Callio would have been really good to have in. The reason why, here's why, because the guy's a bona fide rock star. The guy's got albums out. He's got another album out. They've been a Scorsese. His song is featured in Martin Scorsese film. They've had a hit, MTV play with Disneyland, so a bona fide hit. The Zozo Lab meth sticker, meth lab.
But he was
Zozo sticker, meth lab.
Nicely in the trailer.
Yeah, he features in the trailer. But I just think, I would prefer his voice only because it's kind of people are interested in celebrity, right? Even at this point. And so you put down talking. And then you underscore his name with, like 7 Horse data kind of thing, right?
For me, that didn't enter into it, though. I didn't. Well, but I did wince when you said that, and the reason why, I agree with you. I wanted him in there more. This was the back and forth between the editor and I. Originally, Joey was in there. I thought Joey's interview was one of the better interviews I did. So if I did 10 interviews outside of you and Sue, I would say his was in the top 3 or 4. He was incredibly articulate. I could cut a short film with the things that Joey said. The conversation we had, really incredibly insightful about who he is, right? About his profession, about his relationship to performance, fandom. It was a really, really great interview. And I'm just getting myself more upset. But he also
don't be upset by it. I'm just saying.
Oh, Joey. No, but he was also incredibly insightful about how people behave on the show, how people act on the show. And the tension between the performance and the sincerity, the authenticity, and the bombastic
hyperbole. Yeah,
exactly. And I thought he really captured that best out of everyone. And for me, that was an important sub theme in the first half of the film.
Yeah,
I think Rob talks about it in the film.
Yeah, Rob.
Sarah talks about it in the film. But I thought that Joey actually was the most articulate of the 3. And for whatever reason, the editor, it got dropped. I'm just saying, kind of like, it's your film, right? I keep coming back to that because I think that's a critical component, right? I like the idea of having an antagonist. Because Jason plays that role. Like, I don't really get along with those people and stuff. I'm very happy that Jason didn't mention me. He just mentions Mazzy and Rob. I think Rob in particular comes in for the hit. So I kind of dodged one there. What film is he? Oh, the VC films. Yeah. Did you watch any of those?
I haven't seen any.
No. My film is way better.
Yeah, Greg's will be better. So And then, and then I find it humorous, and this will be something I'll bring up again. I find it somewhat humorous to myself that Tokyo Brian ends up becoming the voice of reason for the whole thing. Because Brian, and I love Brian, Tokyo's a good kid, but he's as neurotic as hell. He's another one of these guys that wears their neuroses. I think Brian would recognize that he's neurotic. And so, this from the transsexual, as I like to say. But, so I find humor in that in myself because I'm knowing the cast and the people. I mean, who would I like to reflect on my show? Angelo Kelly. Angelo Kelly, here's another guy, sold millions of records. He's over in Europe. He's a big name over in Germany, right? They love him over there. He's a bona fide star there. He fills out, these auditoriums and stuff.
Stadiums.
That guy, stadiums, whatever. He's just big. That guy, he's all legit, but he finds humor in what I do. He likes the show for the humor. He loves it's a place for him to kick back and just laugh because it's so inane at the end of the day, and the humor in it, and that's the main thing. That I think the film succeeds best of all. Your struggle, the main problem for you is that in a world of liberalism, you've got as the centerpiece somebody who actually likes Trump and can articulate reasons why they like. I don't come off like an idiot in the thing. Others may disagree. I don't think I come off bad at all. I think I come off.
I was saying before, there will be some liberals or left liberals who will come at me and say, "Why did you make a film
about
platform about this person? Why do we need to hear from this person?"
Yeah. That's going to be probably the biggest struggle for you.
I think so.
It's not a struggle for me at all. I think telling the same stories over and over and over and kind of, and my politics. I'm left of center. I have many criticisms of what you say and how you present and stuff like that. But that's not the point. For me, the point is to tell stories that are saying something new and are challenging.
Well, this certainly delivers
conceptions and preconceptions, right?
And let's be fair, Massey's great. His line in there, like you're wrong, Rachel. And so Massey is kind of the champion for the left in the film and does a great job. I think he does a tremendous job of it.
And he loved the song.
Massey loves the song. Massey loves the melody.
The song. I'm just going to refer to it as the song now.
The song.
Was it too long? Was it too long?
It was
the song too.
I think that's what most people are saying. That.
Okay, I hit on it. I was wondering about that too, but I was talking earlier. I didn't want to talk about the song. Because it's so cringy.
It's so long.
And I can't even watch it.
But the thing is that, or I love
it. And it's like quality of it. It sounds terrible.
It's horrible. The whole thing is horrible. And
but I love it. I love the horror of it. It's horrible. I can't even watch it.
This is now okay. So the film American Movie? Do you know the documentary called American Movie?
I don't think so, Rachel.
You've got to watch American Movie. So it's kind of like an Ed Wood story. It's about this kid. I think he's out in the Midwest somewhere. And he's got a vision of being a great filmmaker. And he wants to do a film called Coven, but he doesn't know how to pronounce Coven, so he calls it Coven. Mm-hmm. And he's got a little friend he's now deceased, unfortunately, very young, but he's an alcoholic. And he's kind of simple he's got kind of like brain damage from so much vodka. He goes, there's a scene in it where he goes, I had vodka and then I'm going to get some vodka and maybe later I'll get vodka. And the other guy, you've got to do that. We've got to make this movie. And so they're very earnest. It's this over earnest. And this is kind of like Melody. It's that absurdity when someone's so earnest, about something, but so obviously off kilter that there's humor in that, and we've seen that kind of done too.
There totally is. There totally is, and I get people saying maybe it's a bit too long, but I think it's like the total I don't know what it is. I think it's the love, the hate, it's the pain and the pleasure, right? It's just, and I had to push it. I just had to push it. And there was so many times I thought,
sorry, I'm not a camera, so it's hard to interject, and I really apologize. But I think Smartwater's got it here, and this is what I said to Rachel too, was the song was worth it because of what Rob said after. You know, it made the whole thing so hilarious.
Yeah. It's for those of you who haven't seen the film, Sue's right. It fits into an arc, a storyline, a story within the story.
That's probably where your editor was coming from with that. Because
Rob's punchline on it is great.
The punch was just so
good.
Rob's and then that elicits a response, and so it's not central to the film. You know, I embraced its cringiness, but it does a number of things, I'm going to say, in the film.
Yeah.
But I refused to watch it, and I'm sure Mazzy like fast forwarded, or Mazzy was like, Jesus, Greg. Mazzy probably like you know, recorded how many seconds it went for.
So
you know,
so Sue and I came up early this morning, so we went through Google Pay, and so we, you know, threw a little, you know, literally a little nickel and dime your way, the $6 or whatever it costs to do it, and but you know, but does it help you if I actually watch it, or can I, you know, because I've already.
No, it's fine. No, I did see that you paid for it. Thanks. Like every contribution is making a big difference here, right? So,
yeah, that's what I'm talking more about, the view aspect of the thing. But yeah, this is Greg's film, and I keep telling everybody it has nothing to do with me. I just show up for it, and I'm flattered at the end of the day that Greg took it. I think ultimately it serves as a hell of a commercial for my own program. You know, the thing is like nowadays I'm kind of more, my focus is I don't care about pushing the channel or growing the channel or anything that way. That's one difference between the old channel and this one. I'm just more interested in the money, like pay $5 a month, be a Patreon to come in. And
so then things have changed. Then going back to my
that's the one difference. I'm not pushing it the way I used to. I'm not being the entity. Out there, the presence, as it were. I'm being less of a presence. I've dropped almost 100 pounds.
So Greg, you have to do your promotional tour. So you need to do a live stream with Mazzy for sure, and the
Mazzy doesn't do live streams.
I think he would interview you.
He would do you.
I think he would. I think. I mean, I don't want to put him in a tough spot.
But I think that's something we could talk about on
because he's got the reach, he's got the channel.
Because I think
I'm sure he'd get some money in your hand that way.
But you should definitely do something with Sarah.
She's
got a huge audience.
She's got a big audience,
and a lot of them.
And she's got a lot of red hats over in her channel.
Yeah, so
she got liberals, but she's got the red hats too.
She's got everything, and they're a debate channel. So I mean, I think she would have a lot of fun doing.
And the fact that she's featured in the film might be a thing.
Well, yeah, for sure.
Executive producer Massey.
Sarah's been wonderful. She's been really great.
Yeah,
and I think she would have some fun with that.
I think it's at the end of the day, it's a funny little piece of film. It's funny. It's human. It's great. I enjoyed it. Greg is slowly dying.
What do you think? Can we talk about Rob? Do you think Rob is actually going to? Do you think Rob's actually going to show up on Sunday?
He will.
Oh yeah, of course he will. Rob comes off really good on it.
He better.
Do you think Rob comes off good?
I think everybody comes off good.
Amazing, yeah.
I think Jason actually, and without meaning to criticize Jason, but because I really don't have a horse in that race, but I got to tell you, I think Jason, the fact that he goes, his is the only, but he serves an important function, I think. It's not all beds of roses, but the fact that he's mentioned, well, I've got the Wikipedia entry, and this kind of thing, which I'm in Wikipedia, by the way, before the vinyl community. You can go find me there. But the other thing is that but that comes off as being petty, so it doesn't reflect well on him, right? Because it looks kind of, that was my take on that. But it's a little spice. It could have been a lot hotter.
Do you remember when we were shooting? Well, I think there was only Jason and Jade who didn't make themselves available for your show for those 2 days.
Yeah.
And did I tell you? I don't know if I actually told you this, but there was an hour left in shooting, and I texted Jason. I said, "You should come up. You gotta come up," because I wanted to have the cutaway interviews and people participating on your show,
for the film,
right? Just to piece things together that way. But I don't think he wanted to come up. But do you remember he just started trash talking Rob or something? And you were bringing it up, and so that's part of what happened.
Yeah, he does. Jason, at the end of the day, I don't think he has too much of an issue with me. That's my own take on it.
Jason Mazzy
are the only ones that come off bad in it. Yeah, interesting. I don't think Massey does, but I mean, I don't know.
Got to see the film. Got to see the film, right? You know, this is why you got to see the film. Also, when you go to the screen, like if you follow the link I had up before.
And Ryan, you were funny, by the way. Okay, go ahead.
You'll see where you can see the TV show documentary. If you scroll to the bottom, there's a couple other films that I've done. Good commie films, right? Yeah. Rachel, have you watched my good commie films?
I watched. I watched the Delegation.
What did you think of the Delegation?
I thought it was good. I thought it was fun. I thought it was interesting, right? Reality meets kind of fantasy, or idealism meets reality, the concrete.
It's true. And it was also a group of people who had a wide variety. They were kind of naive, maybe liberals, so to speak, but it was still a wide spectrum of political people in that film too. So maybe that, this is part of the kind of themes that
I think this is a fun, interesting little film. I think people on my side of the aisle will enjoy it more.
I think so, huh?
I think my side of the aisle, because they can relax more about it. I think they're more relaxed about it than the left are a little more intense, right?
Well, the left might see the Trump hat and got upset.
Yeah, well, Jason, the reason I use the word petty is because, it's like at the end of the day, how important is this nonsense, right? Like, you're in Wikipedia. Like I say, I've got my Wikipedia entry before I'm in the vinyl community, and you can go do your own research on that.
You know what this reminds me of actually is that I should get some little promo quotes, huh? Start writing some of them, some funny ones, or
there's a lot of. I mean, we got a lot of Stundy's a genius. There's a lot of highly intelligent people, that do it. Now, I will tell you,
we don't need to go that far.
The other thing about the show is it always has been a constant influx of people in, people out, but it's got a core group that are always there. But we've always had a flux of in and outs, and right now, there's Loki's mad because I'm having Paul from Psycho Platters. Paul is neither here nor there for me.
And getting Beetle Babe back.
And Beetle Babe is back in the mix.
Loki gets his half a second, cameo.
Yeah, he's got his and I'm glad that Loki's got a comment in there. I was happy to see that. And I think that's a big part of it, because there is the peanut gallery. And so the interplay between whatever I'm doing and the peanut gallery continues to be a large part. And the fodder and the humor that goes on to it, and the personality interplay with people on the show with the wider vinyl community. Fantastic question. Great question. I love this question from Ryan.
Have you ever been to a Walmart where the snow falls on your head? Did you see that video? There's some Walmart collapsed.
The Walmart collapse.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Since we're talking about my film, that's a better image.
Yeah, I've seen the Walmarts where the people's pants collapse. I've seen that. There comes the ass crack and all that.
There is no nudity in the film, right?
There should have been. We could have had it. I demanded. I pressed for it.
But Ryan asked a good question earlier. Yeah. He asked, basically it was a question of whether or not I took anything out because I felt uncomfortable with the content.
Oh, that's a good question.
No, that is a really good question. But I don't think so.
No, in fact, I'd say the worst of what you witnessed is in the film. I think the worst of what, because I go, you liberal bleacher assholes. I love that line. It shows up in the it shows up in the trailer, but it's so buried you have to kind of really listen for it because everybody's yelling. But the way you pulled it out for the main show, it's funny as hell. I started laughing. Yeah, you guys are gonna bleach your asshole. You liberals are out there bleaching your assholes.
That was my sound. The guy who did the sound mix did a really nice job.
Yeah,
you like the music?
Yeah, a lot.
That took a while.
Right away, and right off the bat, it hits the road running and doesn't let you go. So that's the strength for the film. It'll be interesting to hear, just from a pure artistic sense, what your fellow filmmakers, your fellow auteurs tell you about it, and go, well, Greg, apart from the horrible thematic central character, here's what we like, and boom, boom, boom. And can you do with that?
You know what it is? I don't know. I think that people are reticent to give you their honest opinions and their critiques. Honestly,
yeah.
It's not just a Canadian thing. I think it's amplified in Canada. I don't know if you and Sue agree with me. There's this kind of gentility in Canada that I think is stereotypical, but it's
a Canadian type.
Though,
sorry, you know.
The Peanuts will be honest.
The Peanuts, the Peanuts are honest to a fault.
But then they may not be the professionals that you're looking to for any answers or thoughts, right?
Sorry, everybody, I didn't even have my comments on to look at what's going on out there. Anyway, so it was very pleasurable. It was great getting to meet you. I enjoyed your crew, the guys you had, your sound guy, your film guy. They were all really good. Oh my God.
You know, actually the only thing that got cut out was Stunty. I interviewed Stunty for 5 hours. And it was just garbage. It was just nothing.
You got nothing salvageable. Cutting room floor fodder.
But I did have, that was a joke. But I did have a few people who were they weren't stalking me, but they were persistently checking in with me about why they hadn't been interviewed.
Oh, okay. Well, because I did recommend Stunty at that time. I said you should get Stunty, interview him.
Yeah. Because I'm not talking about Stunty. I'm talking about some other folks who whatever. But it was well past. It was well past production dates, and we were in the editing room. I was like, sorry, I know. Maybe you wouldn't have been a good interviewee, but there was a few people who were like that. But whatever, you know. So, but I took that as more people were interested in the project. Right?
At the end of the day, this works as a hell of an advertisement for my little channel, you know. Wow. And
what do you think? Bobby's got some good scenes.
Bobby's great. We got Bobby as prominent. It's good to see Mr. Gas Legend.
I had to click a button because of something Bobby was doing, when I submitted the film to the film festival, because they ask you, does your film include
drug use or anything? Yeah.
Anyway,
he's probably having a reefer. Don't fear the reefer.
Bobby's good. That was good.
But it was a lot of fun, and we had a great 3 days. I was sad to see that we didn't use the drone footage at the end of the day, which was funny as hell. Oh, and I like the store scene too, where we go shopping. That was a good scene. That works out good too. I
thought that worked really well. Your local store is really it's an awesome store, isn't it?
Yeah,
the folks there were super nice.
Yeah.
They were excited about the project. That was a good stop there. At the end, I think was it the last thing that we did when we went down to the beach and we did the drone footage?
Big hurry.
The last day. I think it was the last day, and you had the idea you wanted to do it. It worked out quite well.
Thematically, it didn't quite fit with
what we were doing. Yeah.
Well, I will say that, and maybe we can talk about this more on Sunday and maybe on some other streams, because when you close your stream, right? Yeah. You close your account, and then the first thing that you started talking about was, okay, well, I'm going to take my stream kind of offline and do a under the water. Remember you were going on about the submarine. The new channel is going to be a submarine. So I thought, maybe I can use that footage with you guys, and then we go out into the water and have you.
Yeah.
But there wasn't enough of an arc and everything. So do you know what I mean?
Mom is a classic. I like the visuals on that. It's poetic, it's artistic, and plus the film starts that way, right? You've got that great shot that you use.
Yeah, and I like sorry, I didn't get to interview Bobby. So Bobby's on in the show, right?
Yeah,
on the stream
of the actual great
so you see him
footage from our show.
Yeah, you see Bobby, but I didn't get to one-on-one interview.
But anybody that's got $6 to spare, please do it. Again, it's not for me; it's for Greg. He invests significant amount of money in this thing, and it's just a token way of getting a little bit back into his hands. And then, I don't know, because you are in France, it's going to be probably a little more difficult to peddle this thing about.
I think that, yes, I think I am waking up at 3:30 in the morning to go on Chance's service noise. So yeah, it's more the later evening streams are going to be harder. Well, but anyway, so here's a film, everyone. Those of you who just came in, check it out. There's a trailer there, so if you want to just check out the trailer. Trailer's free
in the chat. So he wants to throw it. No, don't just throw it up there, but throw it into the chat if you're able to.
Yeah.
So where it's there.
Yeah, let me see if I can do that again. So if you want to check it out, you can actually watch the trailer, which I think the editor did an amazing job on the trailer.
I like the trailer.
It's a lot of fun, isn't it? Yeah. And so if you don't have the $5.99, just go check it out, right? And share it.
The trailer, it'll give you a sense, but the movie itself is great, and it's entertaining, and I think that's the most important variable you can get. It's good. It's I don't know. There's a lot you packed into a half-hour bit of entertainment.
Let's see if that works.
Sue's trying to help you out with that. There it is. Here it is. Okay. He's got it in there.
I think I posted it earlier.
Yeah, folks, head over there. It cost like $6. Watch the film, and then on Sunday we're going to have Greg on my program. We're going to have some of the particulars from the documentary over on my channel, and we'll hack it out. We'll talk some more about it.
It's just going to be it'll be a love-in followed by a death spiral, followed by a shit show, followed by
more shit show, more death spiral, but it ends happy. That's the beauty of it. So anyway, I really like it. It's funny, and I tell you, it's a funny movie. Did you find yourself laughing at it all? At it at all?
That's what ask me that when I see it on the big screen at a festival in a cinema. I'll have a totally different. I'll have a different take for you.
Wouldn't that be something to see it screened to a bunch of people that don't know anything about it?
Yeah, with good sound too. You can hear the voices boom out.
Yeah,
you can hear the layering that the editors done, the music, the original music track.
Yeah, the music.
So I appreciated Mazzy the other day on your stream was talking about how we need to support the arts, right? Yes. All the people that I hired for this film are independent artists, independent cinematographers. You remember Wes, super great guy. Yeah. He's an independent contractor. The sound recordist, Raylan, independent contractor. These are. I was very, very happy to work with them, and I want to make sure that they all get paid what they deserve. Right. The sound mix, the editor, and then the music. It's original music. It's not AI garbage. It's not stuff that I've downloaded. This is a soundtrack that was original composed for this film. So all that for me, that makes a huge difference. So $5.99, do it, hit it.
And it's got a lot. It starts off because there's real. I don't know. It builds. You're able to build with it. I'm not going to elaborate more on that. I'm just going to say it builds.
The guy's name is Doug Tewksbury. And he goes by his last name. So if you Google Tewksbury on Bandcamp, actually, you'll hear some of his music. And I also use one of his music in one of my other films as well.
Yeah.
Really great.
It's great to be associated with these people.
Yeah. I think I'm going to probably leave it there. Rachel, I got to go and warm up dinner for everyone.
Yeah.
And thanks for popping up. Yeah, it was a last minute thing, but I just thought since I was launching it, I probably needed to do some kind of launchy kind of thing. Bobby, 33 minutes. 33 minutes was the...
It's a half hour of your life you'll never get back, Bobby. $6 USD.
You will not get it back.
Bobby.
Your stomach will feel worse afterwards.
You're going to love the song. Alone is worth the price of admission.
All the way through it, you'll be doing this, or this, or this. There we go.
So yeah, head over, and there's a link. Do you want to highlight your link again one more time, and we'll head out with that showing up. There it is. That's where you want to be. $6, because we'd appreciate the feedback from people. Once you see it, then that's the only way, and then we can hear what your thoughts are on the whole thing. All right. Thank you, Greg.
Thanks, Rachel. We'll see you on Sunday then, everyone. Okay.
We'll see you Sunday over at my place. And also, Chance, when are you going to be on, Chance?
Thursday the 4th, so a week from tomorrow, right?
A week tomorrow on Chance.
At 9:30. So half an hour into a show, Eastern time.
All right.
Eastern North American time. Thanks again, everyone. Talk to you soon.
Peace, love. Take care, everybody. Bye.
Bye.